Hi, I'm Gabriella, and welcome to the Merryweather Knitting Podcast. This is our third episode, coming to you from the heart of Germany, where I live with my husband, daughter, and our cat. I'm really excited to talk with you today about what I've been knitting, sewing, and making. This week, I had to rip out quite a bit, and so I feel like a little bit like I don't have that much to show you, but I feel like I do have some things to show you. I'm very excited about it. So to begin, let's just get ourselves comfortable. I am today drinking out of a very special teacup. I feel like a lot of people on podcasts show off their cups, and I don't know if it's a little silly, but I just think it's so cool because I have a collection of teacups, which I love. So I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna take the opportunity because I don't know when else I'll get the opportunity in my life, except when I host people in my home, which hardly we've been able to do. You know, everyone who comes over knows my teacups already, and I feel like aren't that interested in them. So I'm just gonna go ahead and show you. And today I've got a very special teacup that I got also at a flea market, which I showed you last time, a different teacup I got at a flea market. Unfortunately, I could not find the saucer, but I do have a saucer that matches. And I think this is such a lovely teacup. It's, see the little motif. It's like a little lady, a little painting kind of, a little lady and a man. And the cup is gold. It's like super shiny and gold. And this man is like playing her the guitar and she's like looking up at him. It's so beautiful. I love it. Maybe it's a little over the top, but it's totally my style. I love things like this. And this was such a fun find. It says in the bottom that it's 24 karat gold and handmade. I don't know what that really means, if it's 24 karat gold or what that means, but I love this teacup and I got it for €5 and I was just over the moon happy, and I still am. Every time I drink out of it, I'm just overjoyed. Today I'm drinking a special tea blend, which my husband and I got when we were on vacation on the North Sea, on a little island that we like to visit whenever we can, which isn't that often, but it's a lovely place to go, and there's a beautiful tea shop there and have some beautiful floral tea, which I'm drinking from there. So now we can get started. I finish objects wise to start with. I feel like I kind of have a half-finished object to show you, so I will show you that first. And this is the miniature leg warmer, which I showed you last week. But this is actually a different, technically kind of a different leg warmer than the one I showed you. The one I showed you last week, I knit on, and then pretty much when I was finished with it, I realized it was too small for my daughter's foot. So, and it didn't stretch. The hand spun that I'm knitting this out of is my own, and it is really unevenly spun. And I don't know, I knit it on, I'm knitting on pretty small needles for the size. And it's just, the gauge is a bit tight, so it wasn't that stretchy. And I actually kept the needle size. It's a little stretchy, but it wasn't stretchy enough to where I felt like it made sense for me to finish the little leg warmers at that size, because they would have just been too small for her and too tight on her. So I ripped them out completely and started again. I don't know how you feel about knitting and ripping out. I feel like some people are really, really good at frogging work they don't want to, using the yarn again, or just ripping things out. But I'm so not a ripper outer. If I've got a couple rows or if I've got a few stitches, I try to catch it early, and then I'll go back. But you know, often I just don't end up doing it. I just don't end up ripping back. I just think, you know, unless it's a big issue, I just feel like I will ignore it and I'll just be fine with it. I'm really type B. I don't mind little issues, little kind of mistakes. I totally can overlook them and be totally happy with things. I even like imperfection. I even like that kind of aspect of handmade items. But it's just, I always want to wear it so much that I just want to finish the knitting. I think that there is a problem with that though, because there are pieces which I knit and then I think I'm not going to care about that little mistake. I'm not going to notice it. But then in the end, it's so glaring and so obvious for me. Like it really is. Even though I think I'm type B and I think, I'm not going to notice it. Sometimes I do notice it. And so I want to get better at taking the time to rip back when I make mistakes and start fresh, or just, redo parts that I need to redo, because I'm making things with the hope that I'll be able to wear them for years and maybe even decades, depending on what it is. And I want them to look beautiful. I want them to look good. I want them to last. And I want to wear them, confidently and not have, that mistake glaring at me all the time. I think there's a balance, because I really don't mind a bit of, a little bit of like handmade vibe to something. But overall, I just want to get better at that, ripping things back. Especially with certain kinds of projects. Because if it means I'm not going to wear it as often, then I really need to rip back and take that time. It's also such an investment of money a lot of the time to knit. I really like getting good yarn, good quality yarn. I don't want to get, I want to invest in that. And so if I'm going to invest in that, I should probably take the time to properly knit what I'm knitting. But this was something which I did not mind ripping back at all. It was so small and it's such a quick little tiny knit that it really was not a big deal. And now this is a very cute little leg warmer and it fits her like a glove. I'm pretty sure it'll be great for her for the whole winter. I'm on the second one now, but I've run into another problem with this, and I knew that this was a risk when I started, but I just wanted a little project, so I started anyway, and that is, I'm pretty sure I'm going to run out of yarn. I have a solution, but before I tell you about that, I want to show you, I made a little cable on each side of this cute little leg warmer. I think they're so sweet. I actually just love the hand spun yarn. I think it's so special and cute and the perfect project for me to use this hand spun. I couldn't think of a better project because it's just really whimsical and a little like earthy and a little, I don't know, it fits. And I think for me, hand spun is special, but my hand spun is really, really rustic. And so I feel like baby knits or children's knits are the perfect projects for my hand spun, because they're just, hard wearing in a certain way. I feel like they're just rustic looking, they're playful looking. I feel like I don't really mind when I see this fabric, just the texture. If this were a pullover or something, I really wouldn't mind my daughter, playing outside or playing in the forest or getting, leaves all stuck in it or something. I feel like there's some knit fabrics and yarns that I wouldn't want that with, that are very special or very fine or very, look very good when they're very clean. But this hand spun just, I feel like, is inspiring. It makes me want to go into the woods. It makes me want to go play in nature. And I feel like rustic yarn in general does that, but like hand spun as well. And so I feel like this it's inspiring me to want to spin some yarn up to make a little sweater for my daughter, when she's a little older. But anyway, I'll tell you about my little problem here. I've only just started the second leg warmer because of my little problem with the running out of yarn. I've been knitting these when we've been in the car driving. We haven't been driving that much lately, but I've been just taking these along with me, and it's really nice because it's such a small project. I have not done that. I always have knit socks when we're just out and about, but these have been so much fun. This is how much I have left, which seems like it looks like a decent amount when I show it, but it's definitely not going to be enough for the second little leg warmer, and I've just only cast them on, done a couple of rows, but I have only this much left. So for a second I was like, okay, what am I going to do? I have some black worsted weight yarn, which I really want to get rid of somehow, because it was from a colorwork pullover I did. And I don't know what to do with this black yarn. I just don't know. I feel like black yarn is kind of boring, and it's pure black. It's not like a heathered black. It's not a natural black. It's pure black. And yeah, it's just, I don't know what to do with it. So I thought maybe I'll just put it on there since no one's gonna see it. Maybe I'll just do, I don't know. But I then looked in my stash and I found, just whipping out my spinning bag here, I found more little mini, tiny little bits of this exact fiber, which I used to spin this yarn. And I was over the moon. And I had actually already, I don't know how much I have of this, but I have a decent, I don't know, maybe I have more than an ounce, I think, of this fiber. It's all like batted up. It's like a little bit bundled up, but you can see how it looks. It's also not, you know, it's all like closed, but you can see how cute it is. It's got this little stellina or fire star, I'm not sure. Pink and blue and purple. I really am excited about this. And I'm going to be spinning this up. I had actually even started spinning it up, I think just for fun, to practice spinning on a different drop spindle I had. So I even had a little bit on there. I think I told you this. I am huge into like the mock 3-ply, kind of Navajo ply on the fly, kind of plying as you go along. And that's what I had done with this original yarn here. And that's what I'm doing on my other spinning project as well. But this one, on the spindle, which I had started, I had just done a single ply. And so I went back and I then 3-plied it all, or, you know, mock 3-ply, I don't know what you call it, and continued spinning on it. I'm going to just continue spinning all that I have left and, you know, process that up, put it in there, and then I'm just going to finish the leg warmers. And it's been so much fun. I've been spinning it on this cute little drop spindle I have. I don't know if you can see well, but it's a little resin flower drop spindle. Super cute. It's so much fun to spin on this. It's got some sparkle in there. I got this a while ago, a couple years ago, from I think Spin City, UK. I think that's where it's from. I think she does a lot of these kinds of things, and it's a cute little website and very cute little just resin drop spindles, which I think this would also be super easy to make. But I've been just spinning it up on here and don't have too much because I've only done a very little amount of this, but yeah, I'm really excited about finishing this and being able to give those leg warmers to my baby girl. It's going to be so much fun. But that wasn't the only thing that I needed to rip out this week. And, you know, my other rip out moment was not something that I could have changed. There was really no other choice for me. Even if I could have said, I don't mind, I had to rip it out. And it was okay though. It was kind of good because I had made a mistake as well as making the other mistake. Let me explain to you. I feel like I'm not that articulate this morning. But so it was on, I had finished the both of the front panels of my balloon jacket by Petite Knit. You can see this, there it is. Last week I think I was just on the left. I still had the right to do or something like that. And now I'm completed with both sides. And I really love this piece. I think it looks so cozy. I'm so excited for it to be completed. And I've started the arms. So I'm on the first arm and I don't have very much so far because that's where I had to rip out. And the reason I had to rip it out, I had knit it, you know, maybe this much of it actually, maybe a little bit less. I had knit it without the mohair, just with the worsted weight. And that was truly like, I just don't know. I just totally blanked out on the fact that I was supposed to, at the mohair, I was supposed to be starting a new skein of both actually at the same time. But I just forgot the mohair, and I just started knitting away blissfully with just my cascade yarn. And I knit and knit and knit and knit and knit. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I forgot the mohair. I like looked at the body and I was like, something's different. That's fluffier than this. Why? And then I realized, oh my gosh, I forgot the mohair. So I laughed at myself and I tore it out very happily and started over. But when I ripped out, I was also actually relieved because I had been making a mistake. I had been totally blanking. I had read the pattern really quickly and I just don't know. I guess it was the evening and I was just like, I want to get this thing, I want to just get this thing on the needles. Like I want to cast it on and knit on the arm, you know, sleeve island, whatever. It says in the pattern you're supposed to decrease at a certain interval per a certain amount of centimeters. Every certain centimeter amount you're supposed to decrease. And I read it in my mind when I first read it as every 10th of row you're supposed to decrease, for example. I feel like I don't want to say it because I don't know if that's like giving away the pattern. That's probably not true, but I just don't want to like give it away. I don't know. But I read it like every 10th row decrease, but it was really every 10th centimeter decrease. So I had been every 10th row decreasing like crazy, and it had made sense to me in a certain way as I was going along. I didn't really question it. I mean, I was distracted as I was knitting. I was, watching something and just chill, but it's so huge. I mean, now when I show you, it doesn't seem that huge, but it feels like pretty big. It's not in any way, it's a lot of positive ease. I mean, it's called the balloon jacket, but in my mind, I'm used to knitting things which are a little bit more negative ease or just like normal, like close up on the body. And so I thought it made sense. I was like, it's just gonna go down. It makes sense that it's decreasing, but I was wrong. And so in the end, it was totally good that I had to tear back and go from the beginning again, because now I'm totally adhering to the pattern. Both mohair and worsted weight are on the needles and I'm decreasing at the right moment, so it's all good. But that was really a funny mistake. In case you don't know or you're interested, this is knit in the Filcolana mohair silk blend. I forget the name of this yarn, but it's the mohair silk from Filcolana in the colorway Sienna. And this is knit double with the Cascade 220 worsted weight yarn in the shade Japanese Maple. And I love this color. I am so happy with this color. I truly think this was the right choice for me, and every time I look at it, it makes me happy. So I know I'm gonna wear this a lot. I know it fits me, it fits my style, it fits my complexion. It's really just like definitely my piece. I'm just so excited about it. So that's my balloon jacket by Petite Knit. I had said, yeah, I'll have it done by December, but I don't know, part of me is like, it's a little demotivating when I rip that back. It was a little bit demotivating, even though I've come a good ways. I still feel like, oh, I don't know how much I'm gonna get done, but we'll stay positive. I have another thing which I'm gonna show you today, which I had mentioned the last couple episodes, and this is a project which I'm also working on. But haven't been that consistent on, but I do want to finish this very soon. And that is my little pullover, the first pullover I ever cast on, I ever tried to knit. I cast this on, I don't know, 7 years ago. And I knit it and then made a big mistake and then completed the body and then just stopped and left it to sit in my closet for all those years. I took it with me to Germany. I had it in my basement, and every time I looked at it, I just thought, oh, one day. It doesn't make sense to throw it away. Like, of course, to throw it away or to frog it. I didn't want to use the yarn for anything else. But I just thought one day I'm going to finish that. One day. Do something with it. Otherwise, it's fine if it just sits there because it's just taking up space. It's okay. But I was just inspired. I want to have it done, and I think I'll wear it if I have it done. I feel like I'll throw it on when I go hiking or I just go out if we're, going out in nature. It's a nice, warm, cozy sweater. It's very pretty. I don't know. I just feel like it's worth getting it finished. I have the yarn for it, and I'm not even going to do complete sleeves, so it should take no time. But I'll show you the mistake I made, and you'll understand. So this is it. It's the Chuck pullover, the Chuck sweater by, I don't know the designer's name, but she's really a cool designer. She knits all these and designs all these cute little cropped kind of vintage patterns to wear over dresses, or I think, for high-waisted jeans that are just these like little sweaters. And it was the perfect pattern for a beginner sweater knitter, I would say. It was the absolute perfect pattern for me at the time. And still a great pattern. I would knit it again. I would knit another pattern by her 100% again. I think they're so sweet, so quick, and so practical, so wearable, But I just made this mistake. It's knit in the Knit Picks Wool of the Andes, I think it is called. But it's this Knit Picks worsted weight yarn. I think it's super wash. It's just a standard, nice, affordable yarn. And here it is. Here's my little Chuck. And I'm pretty sure some of you will immediately see the mistake. Probably most of you. And if you didn't see it, thank you. That is so nice of you. I'm so touched. I'm honored. I feel like I wouldn't see it right away if I saw it on someone else, but I know many people will see it immediately. And it's such a silly, silly mistake. I don't even know what happened in this moment. And it's at the beginning of the pattern, the beginning of the thing. I think it's knit, maybe it's knit bottom up, in which case it's not at the beginning, but I don't really know if it's knit top down or bottom up, but I think it's knit bottom up for sure, because it's like ribbed. But okay, this is the mistake. Look at that. What happened there? I don't know what happened. But I guess I knit in the opposite direction, or I don't know. I just decided it was time to purl. I don't know what I did, but you see it's literally on this part of the sweater. A lovely commenter had mentioned that maybe I could show it and someone would have an idea about what to do or how to rescue it. So if you have an idea, please share. I don't know. I don't really want to do too much surgery. I don't really want to rip it open too much. I think, I thought if I block it well, it's super wash, but if I block it and kind of stretch it out a little, it's like it fades in a bit, so you won't notice it 100%. And I did such a good job for somebody who was, except for this mistake. You're also going to notice this mistake here if you're anyone who watches. There's this one as well, which honestly, that doesn't bother me really. This really doesn't bother me. This little cable, this bothers me here. But it also doesn't bother me that much if I can think about it being covered up. And I just imagine that I'll do this when I wear it. Like I'll wear it and I'll just put my hair over this side so that no one can see it. And then, it's just invisible. And if I'm in like the woods or whatever, who even cares? It's a practical piece to keep me warm. But, I don't know, or like a camping sweater, This is also hilarious. But honestly, this piece, this little cable here, I feel like I almost find endearing. Just because I know I was just starting out and I still would make a mistake like this. But I feel like at the time, I just think it's kind of sweet that there's this little mistake. It doesn't bother me. I just think it's such a fun little pattern, and this little part I just think it's so sweet and would be so cozy. I don't know. I started a little bit on the arms, on the sleeves, but I also know that I haven't been doing that much on it. I do want to finish it though, I really do. And I feel like it's nice, it's spacious. I think I have enough space in it, but we'll see. We'll see if I finish it or not. I hope I do. I'm gonna try. If you have any words of wisdom or advice, I'd love to hear it now that you've seen it. I haven't been spinning on my other spinning project this week. As I showed you, I've been on my little flower spindle this week. Non-knitting related, I have also been working a little bit on trying to make a scrunchie from the fabric I showed you last week. Trying to figure out how I'm going to do it. It's pretty simple. I think I'm just going to sew. I'm going to put the band in the middle, wrap the fabric around it, sew it together, turn it inside out, and then sew the end together. That was my idea, and I'm going to do that. But before that, I thought, let me see if there's a simpler way, or a way that doesn't take as much time. I want to cut a corner and see if I could kind of make it just like a little bit more, so that instead of it being sewn, it's a little bit more like free flowing and fluffy. Or a little bit more tight, like a round piece rather than a scrunchie. So I experimented a bit, ripped out a lot of little seams and cut a lot of threads, but I almost succeeded, although it's opening up here, in making a piece which is just like a little band, almost like a little band, not like a scrunchie that bunches up. And I did that by taking each piece here and like sewing a little corner here, little corner here, little corner here. I don't know if that makes sense. And bringing it together, and it looks good. I feel like I haven't yet tried it on, but I feel like it's gonna work. Maybe I'll try it on later, but I just washed my hair and I feel like it's wet still, so I'm not gonna do it now. But I'm kind of, I don't know, I lost a little bit of my mojo for these scrunchies, but I'm gonna keep it in my mind. It's probably gonna return at some point. I've just been loving knitting lately, and I don't know, I just feel like not really in the mood in the evenings or when I've got free time to sit there and stitch. I definitely am more in the mood to just grab my balloon jacket and just knit away. I think the balloon jacket is also such a fun knit because it is just garter stitch. It's just back and forth, and it really is a really relaxing, lovely pattern and knit. That's all I have to show you as far as what I've been working on this week, but I do have some stash enhancements to show you, and I've been waiting on this yarn actually for a while, and I'm really, really excited that it arrived. If you're not interested in watching that kind of thing, then it was so great having you, but I'm going to show you this. If you want to stay, I would love it. We'll just chat a bit as well. And the yarn I got, I wanting to get for a while because I've seen it in many different places by many beautiful, amazing knitters, and seen it in such lovely designs, and I've just been so inspired lately by this kind of yarn. So I wanted to find a project and make something out of this yarn. This is a very rustic yarn, a very earthy yarn, and I've never actually knit something like this. I think I've never knit with yarn like this before, and this is the Lopi yarn, the Alafoss Lopi yarn from Iceland. It's Icelandic wool, the Alafoss Lopi yarn. It's 100% wool, pure new wool, Icelandic wool, and the reason why I say I've never knit with yarn like this is because this literally smells like it smells so good. It smells like the animal, like it smells like sheep, like animals. I know that may not be everyone's thing, but when I got it, I was like, oh my gosh, it smells like very natural and very like nature. What does it smell like? And my husband smelled it and he's like, it smells like the animal. And I was like, it does, it really does. It's so amazing. I know it's crazy, but this one really smells like, I don't know, it smells just like you're there with the sheep, with the animals. And I just find that so romantic. I can really kind of put myself in my imagination in Iceland on the coast, seeing some kind of beautiful greenery with beautiful sheep and knowing that those sheep are going to be shorn and then their beautiful wool will be yarn, which will keep someone very warm there in the north. I don't know. I just like the smell and I love the yarn, and it's so rough, it's so rustic. I remember I went on Ravelry before I ordered it and I just wanted to see, sometimes there are comments on yarn. I don't know if anyone else has ever done this, but when I've never knit with a yarn before, I like to go on Ravelry and go on the yarn page and then just read the comments about the yarn if there are any. Because I think a lot of people leave really honest, funny comments there. And there were the most hilarious comments on the Alafoslopi Ravelry page. I recommend reading them if you want to laugh, because people were just saying, yeah, there are bits of hair and bits of hay and bits of like earth in this yarn. Like it's like very rustic, and I just, when I read that, like people were like, there's pieces of not fur, I keep saying that, but pieces of hay and in the yarn. I just thought, this is what I want. I really want to knit with something totally natural. And another podcaster, an amazing podcaster who you probably already know, Knitting Traditions, is doing a rustic knit along. And I was like, when I saw that she was doing that, I was so excited, because I thought this is the perfect time, the perfect project to do a bit of a rustic piece and do a little knit along with her. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm going to be knitting a pullover for my husband. I forget the name of the pattern. I'll show you once I cast on and I'll tell you about that more, but it's a little color work, but only 2 colors. So this is going to be the body. He chose the colors, and I had told you about the black yarn I have in my stash. I didn't really need to buy this yarn because I bought more black yarn, worsted. But he loves black yarn in his colorwork sweaters. So I always let him choose the colors for his sweaters, and I also let him choose the pattern, because I want him to wear whatever it is that I knit him. And I mean, I give him some options, or if he chooses something which I don't want to knit, I will definitely just say, no, I'm not going to knit that, or no, that's not my style, or let's look somewhere else. But mostly I kind of present him with some different options, and he tells me what he thinks about them. And the pattern he chose is very cool and very simple. I think it's a Jared Flood pattern. I could be wrong. I'll show you next time, because I really don't have it, and I don't remember right now the pattern. But he wanted these 2 colors together, gray for the body and for the little contrast, black. So he always chooses it, and I don't know, I hope that I'm not left with too much of this left in my stash, but I don't think I will be. It's just this one skein or ball which I had to get, so I'm okay with that. But as you can imagine, this one it's just I don't know. I also didn't really, I know I could technically have probably have taken the yarn which I had already and used that in this pattern, but I don't know, I just wanted to keep it consistent with this Lopi. And it's actually such an affordable yarn where I live. I don't know if it's like that everywhere, if it's like that, maybe shipping costs a lot in certain places, but I was amazed at how affordable this yarn is. And it's just so cool. I'm really excited about it. And I think it's going to be so nice and warm. My husband is somebody who gets very, very cold and does not like to be cold. And so I think this will keep him really cozy, toasty warm as he goes out in the autumns and winters and spring. So I'm really, really excited about this project. Hopefully I can finish my balloon jacket soon and get started on that project. I think that'll be so much fun to knit. And I don't know, right now I've been looking at projects and looking at patterns on Ravelry and getting so excited about so many other sweaters lately. I don't know what it is, but just sweaters and cardigans are right now so inspiring to me. I've seen so many amazing patterns, and you know, the more podcasts you watch, the more you also like or see these cool patterns and yarns, and it's a little bit dangerous because I'm totally inspired right now to knit more and more cardigans and sweaters, and just I don't know, but I'm holding myself back from buying anything. Thankfully I have a very limited budget for my knitting, and it's a good thing, I think. So one project after the other, and we'll see. I'm just excited about what's to come. This week we've been pretty busy. You may not really even realize it because I feel like I'm sitting in the exact same spot as I was before. And there are a lot of the same things behind me as there were last time I podcasted. But we totally redecorated and reconfigured our living room, as I told you we would last time. And I really, really love it in here. It's so cozy. It's so warm, and I feel like the whole room has just changed. As I told you before, we used to have my husband's desk in here and a couch, and now we have a little couch and a little sitting area with a record player, and we have a little dining table in here, which is it's so nice. We have a little place to sit. We can host people to eat. We haven't been able to do that yet, but hopefully for, the holidays, for Christmas, we'll be able to host people at our home and eat around the table. We used to always, and up until now, have always eaten in the kitchen. We have a little table in the kitchen, and before we had our baby, it was perfect for us both. For my husband and I, we could sit there and comfortably sit and eat, but with a high chair and with a baby, and it was just really, really crunched. And so it's so nice now to have a space for all of us to sit together and gather and to eat and just chat, and really have the feeling that for my daughter, even though she's just 8 months old, she really recognizes mealtime as a social time. She sits with us, she looks at us. My husband and I have both kind of realized, sitting with us there at the table as we eat and as she eats, she's really engaged, and she almost she chats, she looks at us, and we just feel like it's really a healthy, positive thing for her. And I know it sounds strange, but I feel like, in a certain way, baby, you just plop them anywhere and they eat, but it's been so special to have her with us at the table and to recognize that she's really engaged with us as we're having our family meal. Because before that, I would kind of feed her and then we would eat later, and it was totally fine, but she really, really just enjoys sitting together, and we have breakfasts together and often dinner together, and it's just so much fun and so special. So I'm really, really happy that we got this little table and are able to just sit and enjoy together. Today we're going to go out and run some errands, maybe go on a bit of a walk. It is pretty cold out, so I don't know how long we're going to last, but it's lovely. This time of year is so special. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today and just chatting with me about knitting. I really have loved reading some of the comments that you've left me, and I love to hear what you're thinking and what you're making. Thank you so much for those of you who've subscribed. It's really a thrilling thing to see that people enjoy this podcast. So every like and every subscribe really means a lot to me. So thank you so much. It's really exciting. I make a podcast every Friday. I've decided it's just going to be my Friday thing. So I will see you again next week, and I look forward to catching up with you then. Take care and have a wonderful weekend.